Pras, the moon goddess who rested you, have heard the story before, but perhaps not like this. Chang'e does not live on the moon because she was cast out. She lives there because one long and quiet evening, after more crowded and demanding years than she could easily number, she finally understood what it meant to stop arriving, to simply be somewhere without the performance of purpose, without accounting for where she was or why. Close your eyes. Let whatever you've been holding today, whatever it's added up to, set itself down for now. There is no task here, no one waiting, only the soft dark behind your eyelids and a story as old as the night sky and the slow, uncomplicated permission to rest. You are on the moon, not quite standing, not quite floating. Something between the two, the way you sometimes are in the first minutes of a dream before it decides on a direction. The ground beneath you is jade, pale as the sky just before full dark, and it supports you with a steadiness that requires nothing from you in return. The air has the quality that very high places carry, clean and thin and faintly silver, as though it has been filtered through something ancient before reaching you. Breathing it in slowly, you feel it reach the deep places in your lungs, and something in your chest that has been carefully held taut all day begins to let go. The palace spreads around you in long, gentle curves. Its walls are translucent jade, thin enough that the moonlight moves through them the way afternoon sun moves through the shallow water of a tide pool. Diffuse, unhurried, softening everything it encounters. No hard shadows here, nothing demanding your attention. The temperature against your skin is exactly right. Nothing you need to adjust to or work around. The light simply exists, the way light does in certain old rooms, not coming from any particular source, just present. This is Gwangan Palace, the palace of vast cold in some of the old texts, though cold is not quite the right word for what it is. It is cool the way marble is cool against bare feet in summer, a gift rather than a chill. Threading through the coolness, a scent, something sweet and warm, like incense recalled from another room, like an evening carried gently forward from a long time ago. Chang'e is here. Near the great arched opening that faces the earth, she sits with her robes pooled around her in deep layers. The color of water at dusk, something between blue and grey, a color without a name for itself. Her hands rest in her lap, palms turned upward and open, the way hands open when someone has finally let something go. The moonlight gathers in them like still water in a shallow stone bowl. She is not waiting for anything. That is the first thing you notice. No tension in her shoulders, no posture of alertness, no quality of listening for a sound that hasn't arrived. She is present the way a river is present in its valley, without effort or apology, without the low hum of wishing to be somewhere else. The jade rabbit moves somewhere nearby, soft and unhurried, its white fur catching the diffuse light, ears turning towards some sound just below the threshold of your hearing. It does not ask anything of Chang'e, and she, long past the habit of filling silence, offers nothing back that isn't already there. They have been companions long enough to have grown comfortable in this way, where nothing needs to be explained or maintained, where sharing the same space is already enough. You settle into the quiet of it. Beyond the palace, in the open courtyard, the cassia tree grows. You can smell it from where you sit. Warm and sweet, threaded through the cool air, something like cinnamon, the way distant things echo familiar ones. Something like honey without the heaviness. a scent that settles at the back of the throat and asks nothing of you. You have not smelled it before, and yet you know it, the way you sometimes know a piece of music you have never heard, because the feeling beneath it is very old. The tree itself is ancient, its bark silver grey and deeply grooved, almost like folded cloth, and where the light catches the surface, it seems to hold a faint luminescence of its own. The blossoms are small, cream-coloured, clustered along the oldest branches, and when they fall very slowly, as though falling here takes its time. One falls now. You follow it with your eyes as it turns in a long, unhurried arc, catching a thread of light, releasing it, catching it again. By the time it reaches the floor, you have forgotten, for a moment, everything that was crowding your thoughts before you closed your eyes tonight. Those thoughts are still there, you know they are, but they have moved to a great distance. The way sounds soften when you stop straining toward them and simply let the quiet settle over you instead. That is what this place does. Chang'e learned it the long way. The story that travels through the centuries arrives with many shapes: loss, longing, a choice made in a single irreversible moment. But stories are living things, and they change with the telling. And what she carries now, in the long, unremarkable centuries of her life on this pale and quiet moon, is something the old tellings rarely mention. She carries the knowledge that there is a difference between being alone and being at peace in your own company. That solitude, given enough time and honesty, can stop feeling like exile and start feeling like somewhere you actually live. That the quiet is not empty. It only looks that way from the outside, from a life lived in close proximity to noise. From within, it is full. She turns, just slightly, and you have the sense she is not surprised to find you here. There is room on the moon for those who need somewhere still to be. She has always understood this. Her eyes are calm, not distant, not closed off, but calm in the particular way of someone who has finished a long argument with themselves and arrived, after much effort, at something like a truce. You recognize that, a little, even now. Below, the earth turns through its long night. From here, you can see the night side, cities glowing in small, warm clusters, wide, dark continents breathing slowly, the ocean moving through its ancient rhythms without awareness of being observed. Everything down there continuing, as it always does, whether or not you are attending to it. The morning will come in its own time. The things that need you will still be there, a little smaller, a little more manageable, on the other side of sleep. The earth has been carrying everything this long without dropping anything. It will not begin tonight. From this height, your worries have their true proportion. They are real. But they are one thing among many, held in a frame much wider than you've been looking through. The jade rabbit has curled near Chang'e's feet, tucked into itself, its white fur rising and falling in the slow pattern of deep sleep. Watching it, you feel something in your own breathing begin to follow. Slower, more complete. The kind of breath that reaches the places you've been holding taut all day and doesn't ask them to stay that way. Chang'e watches the earth turn. She does not speak. Nothing needs to be said. What she offers you is not instruction. It is something rarer, something that can only be witnessed and never quite taught. The example of a being who has found her particular quiet and stopped apologizing for it, who looked at the cold and enormous dark surrounding this palace and recognized it after everything as home. Something like it is waiting for you too. A quiet shape to who you are. You do not need to find it tonight. Tonight, you only need to be here in this borrowed silence, breathing this cool silver air, watching the cassia blossoms turn on their long, slow way to the floor. The light shifts in its gradual lunar way. Another blossom falls. The jade rabbit exhales in the deep, boneless way of something that trusts entirely in the safety of where it rests. Your body is heavier now, not the weight of exhaustion, something quieter, the weight of settling, the way river stones find their place over long years and go still. Your shoulders, the space behind your eyes, the place along your jaw where you keep things you haven't said. All of it releasing in slow, quiet degrees. Chang'e reaches out and sets something on the jade floor beside you. It has no name and cannot be carried, but you recognize it the moment you see it. The feeling of a particular evening, somewhere in the long inventory of your life, when the light came through at exactly the right angle, and you were not trying to be anything in that moment. When the contentment of it came not from accomplishment, but from being somewhere at a certain hour, not wanting anything different. She gives it back to you. You had not known you'd set it down. The palace breathes around you, slow and soft. The walls pulse with their pale interior light. Outside, the dark stretches in every direction, patient and enormous, full of stars, each one a sun surrounded by its own silences, its own unreachable distances. Chang'e has closed her eyes. The jade rabbit sleeps. The blossoms fall. And you are here, held in the quiet of this high, pale place. The jade cool and steady beneath you, the air still, the world below turning in its vast, capable way through the night, without needing anything from you for these few hours. You have been given permission to rest. That matters. No one will ask you what happened here tonight, or what it meant, or what you produced from the stillness. You owe this night nothing, only to let it pass through you. The stars hold still. The moon holds you. Sleep. Now. Perhaps you made it all the way to the cassia tree, or perhaps sleep found you long before that. Either way, I hope something in tonight's story felt like somewhere to set things down. Chang'e has been resting for a very long time, and she doesn't mind the company. Come back whenever the quiet calls you. Good night.